You're listening to Panorama Deluxe, and today we have a very special guest, the one and only Haines. So, Mr. Haines, bonjour.
Bonjour.
I'm glad to have you for your new project. Of course, you need no introduction, but from the author to know through Baader Meinhoff and Black Box Recorder and multiple solo album and over with Peter Buck. And for this very new one, Izzy, Wizzy, Let's Get Busy, you go back to your childhood memories from the 70s. We are quite influenced by the occult, to say the least.
Yeah. It's kind of about magic TV, children's magic TV, television magique from the 1970s, and how it can be a gateway to the darker magic.
Yes, and it seems that the album is very British, but even I think that even if some people don't have the English reference from people from the rest of the world, can get the feeling of the album, even if you don't have the references from specific TV shows.
Yeah, I think so, because it's kind of about a certain time, and the overall theme is not so much specific to the TV shows. It's about how, magic as children can lead to darker things.
And what did lead you to that idea? Or did you decide to? Is it an idea you have for a long time, and or just happens like that?
No, it was a conversation I had with a friend of mine who's a writer, and it was we were just talking about the occult. And we got talking about this thing. Well, maybe the occult goes back to children's TV, and there's a lot more of it in there than otherwise thought. And it's also about how it's also kind of a warning against the occult, because the occult always tends to lead to the right wing politically, and there's a lot of that in Europe at the moment. So it kind of addresses those two things.
Do you understand that why in the early 70s there was this big fascination for the occult? I have some ideas, but I would like to have your opinion on your analysis on that. Why a specific moment of time? There was, of course, the Omen, a lot of movie on music that was from Black Sabbath to.
Yeah. Well, I think it's all still there, but I think this was back in the 1970s, it was the beginning of it in sort of very popular culture. The occult had been sort of more to do with the upper classes, certainly in England, in the Victorian and Edwardian years. And then after the war, there was spiritualism, and seances and all those kind of things became quite popular with the working classes. So I think it just it kind of changed from there. And then there was a kind of harmless idea of magic and variety magic, but I think that was the gateway for a lot of people. And things like you say, Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin kind of toying with magic,
And even if you go a little bit back before, Aleister Crowley appearing on the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper album.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mentioned things obviously like Graham Bond, the Graham Bond organisation.
On your album.
But it's kind of it's a kind of running theme through rock music. Rock music's always liked kind of dabbling in the occult. But I think this album's it's sort of been my album's kind of not so much. It's not so much worshipping the occult. It's saying be careful.
It's some kind of warning, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a warning.
Okay, so let's listen to Izzy Wizzy, Let's Get Busy, and then I go back to you.
Okay.
Wizzy. Scarecrows come alive at 4:35. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. There's electricery over jam and tea. A Michael rod's a lightning rod, the juju on a Scottish dog. Rocking horses talk gibberish with heads on sticks. Haunted houses bring out your dead, but magpies on instead. If you can't handle it, if you can't handle, if you can't handle. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Scarecrows come alive at 4:35. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. There's electricery on your jam and tea. Cast your magic spell on me. A water pistol shooting spree. How's your father Sue? Practical jokes are never funny. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Scarecrows come alive at 4:35. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. There's electricery over jam and tea. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Show us your magic wand.
Okay, so that was Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. And it's quite interesting to see the childlike vibe, and because of it's a reference to children TV show on the occult, and because childhood should be the years of innocence, but at the same time there was this big fascination with the occult.
Well, exactly. Well, that's kind of what, and I think in the 1970s those programs were a lot scarier because they didn't kind of shy away from things so much, and so we got a much more, they were saying things that maybe that you wouldn't be said now on a children's TV.
And of course, I was thinking not about a children's show, but about the Wicker Man, which is now a very big cult. It's strange how much and then the renaissance of the occult with Weird Walk and other magazine and publication. It seems that there is some kind of nostalgia to the 70s occult today in modern Britain. It's how do you understand that?
I think so. I think that's true. I mean, there's a lot of this sort of neo-folk stuff. I think a lot of it I don't really. I'm not kind of a big fan of quite a lot of it. I prefer folk music that's kind of the more traditional ones rather than because that's the point of old traditional songs, that they just continue rather than songs that have been written in the style of traditional songs. So I think it's a bit. There's something not quite right about it with me, and I think it's very white and quite conservative.
Yeah, because it's funny because to go back, for example, to Aleister Crowley, he was presented as some kind of an anarchist and a free thinker, but at the end of the day, there's a much more conservative agenda that maybe people didn't understand because it was like do what you want, fool like you will.
Yeah, well, that's kind of libertarianism, isn't it? Populism, almost. You know, but it's interesting. There's definitely a similarity with the occult and the hard right wing.
Yeah, there's a fascination even in France as well. There's this fascination, and if you go back to the Nazis, of course, there's a lot of occult already. So, do you think that it's go back to World War II and the Nazi fascination with all things occult that infused somehow in later years?
Well, I think there is some of that going on. I think it's all linked up, and one of the things, I mean, the whole thing that the Nazis and the occult, that's kind of, there is truth in it, but it's not kind of quite as true as the people would like you to believe. The Nazis were much more boring than that, you know. You know, it was Himmler who was interested in that kind of stuff. As far as I know, Hitler was never interested in that kind of stuff. But let's not start talking about Hitler.
No. Okay. So let's go back to more colorful character, and because the next song I would like to play is Mama Cass, and let's play it, and then I go back to you to ask you some question about it.
Sure.
The mamas and the papas are in the mystery machine with Shaggy and Scoob, Fred, Velma and Daphne, and we're going on a ghost hunt, and we're taking out the bad luck. We got 2 hot chicks and Mama Kaz in a hippie fuck truck. Me, I'm just delirious again. I was always delirious when I was 10. I got bats in my head like the Wizard of Oz, and the wheels are getting bigger and the wheels are coming off, and we're going on a ghost hunt and we're taking on the bad luck. We got 2 hot chicks and Mama Kaz in a hippie fuck truck. Me, I'm just delirious again. I was always delirious when I was 10. Scooby-Doo, where are you? I'm in Enfield, being thrown across the room. Mama Cass, she was first on the scene. There was blood up the walls. She was late to the party. Yeah, we're going on a ghost hunt, taking on the bad luck. We got 2 hot chicks and the mamas and the papas in a hippie fuck truck. Me, I'm just delirious again. I was always delirious when I was 10. We're in a hippie fuck truck. Yeah, hippie fuck truck. We're in a hippie fuck truck.
So it was Mama Cass, and it's very strange because even if you go back to Mamas and Papas and Mama Cass solo, it seems to be a very California positive vibe, but if you go and scratch a little bit, you see that the whole band relationships was very strange, and then you go back to have a sex scandal with John Phillips, and Mama Cass, of course, tragical death.
The reason the track is on there because there's an episode of a children's cartoon that was shown in the UK. It's probably you probably get it in France called Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and there's an episode from I think 1969 where the mamas and the papas are in it, and in 1969 was actually the time, as we all know, of the Manson murders, and what only became known till kind of quite recently, long after her death, is that Mama Kaz was actually arrived just after on the scene, just after the murders. She was actually the first one in the house that found the bodies, and she got out quick. This is all in Kim Webb's autobiography. So it's kind of, it's very dark forces.
And it's very strange as well. But but some kind of harmless cartoon like Scooby-Doo can have some such dark overtones. In fact, when I was watching Scooby-Doo as a child, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, well, I let's put it this way: I found the dark overtones in that episode. Whether they're actually in there or not is another matter.
And as well, if you go back to California and San Francisco, Los Angeles, I remember the 6th June of 1966 was the beginning of the Church of Satan, and that did have some influence later with Anton LaVey and all this fascination as well with the occult and strange cults as well in California, mixing a very ecological and healthy things, but with a dark overtone on the Process Church as well. Yeah.
Yes, the Process Church of Hidden Judgment. Yes, yeah.
So how do you think that? Why do you think that all these things happen at the same time? Because in France, for example, we have a Planet magazine, which was very important, and it was from a Gurdjieff protégé, and this magazine was very important, mixing the UFO. And Le Matin des Magiciens, Dawn of the Magician, which was quite a bestseller.
Dawn of the I've got that book. Yeah, Dawn of the Magicians.
Yeah, Dawn of the Magician was the Planet and Louis Powell, who later on become very, very conservative. And he says in the mid-80s that the French kids got mental aid.
Right. They all become very conservative at the end.
Yeah. It's strange of this evolution, because everything was possible for them, and they have no boundaries, and then there is this thing, and as well, it's if you go back to the 70s, there's all this icon and idol. I was thinking of Jimmy Savile, for example. And it's terrible, and the style of a guy who did a TV show in England. What's his name? We got as well apprehended for pedophilia. So it's strange that you go back all this scandal, that all this dark overtone is now after 50 years, 40 years is going public.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, that's what happens if you, in very libertarian times, it can go very wrong, can't it? So in a way, my album is quite conservative, because it's actually kind of a warning, against libertarian times. Though I'm not a conservative person in any means. So yeah.
And I would like to know as well, what's your opinion on people like Genesis Pure Reach and Psychic TV, who is no longer with us, but was dealing for a time with the psychic youth movement on the occult and
I think they were dabblers, you know what I mean? They were just dabblers, and they were messing with things they didn't really know about. Also, who real occultists don't kind of talk about it, because as soon as you start talking about it, you lose any power. So that's never trust anyone who claims to be an occultist.
And before playing TV on all the time, I would like to tell you that in France you have a book we have published on Le Boulon. is a friend who published it. It was called Qui Peut, about all the freaks on modern music. So I would like to talk a little bit about that because it's a fascination with all the misfits that popular music.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to all this fascination? Because probably because you was bored about the standardization of modern music, and you wanted to find there's something else existing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I thought a lot of these people and these stories were getting written out of modern music, because we have this thing, certainly in Britain and probably in France, probably in Europe, is kind of the canon of modern music, the oeuvre, you know, the accepted kind of faces of music throughout the past and presently. So I thought there was just more interesting ways of looking at it, the whole music scene, or music over from the last 50, 60 years, or whatever, maybe even further back. And I thought more than that, there was an interesting way of saying it. And I just, because I kind of don't really like the way I don't really like the way much music writing is written. So I just thought there was a better way of saying the things, a more interesting way, making it less pompous and more kind of fun, like rock and roll is meant to be.
Some kind of very harsh words on what was called Britpop at that time, and so do you think that Britpop was an illusion, completely made up thing?
It wasn't an illusion, but it was certainly. It wasn't an illusion because people bought the records. And they bought my records as well. I mean, in a way, you know, I did quite well because I think I sold more records because of it rather than in spite of it. So, but I don't think it was very imaginative. And again, it was kind of like it was very conservative and very, very backward looking. Just in terms of, you know, it wasn't saying anything new about the past. And I know I'm looking at the past in this record, but I'm trying to say something new about it. But it wasn't saying anything new about the past, but it was just imitating the past, really. You know, just imitating the Beatles or imitating other groups from the 60s, really. So I thought it was kind of a blind alleyway, a cul-de-sac.
Yeah. Cul-de-sac. Okay, so let's listen to TV's all the time, and I go back to you.
Yeah.
The TV's on all the time. The TV's on all the time. From the moment we're born to the moment we die. The TV's on all the time. And I'm soaking it up, just like a sponge. Mr. Crowley pops up and he's running amok, 'cause the TV's on all the time. The TV's on all the time. From the moment we're born to the moment we die. The TV's on all the time. From Michael Bates to the Stone Tapes, a lazy dripping away, the spooks of Bottle Bay, someone knocking at the door, witchy signs on the floor, scratching from the outside, when the TV's on all the time, because the TV's on all the time. TV's on all the time. From the moment we're born to the moment we die. TV's on all the time. I was found in the woods. I was brought up by wolves. Ow! Jump off that stuff. Things are gonna your crusts. You spontaneously combust. Dr. Grimston says, Mary to Grimston say, you get lost in the dark and you take a hard ride when the TV's on all the time. 'Cause the TV's on all the time. The TV's on all the time. From the moment we're born to the moment we die. The TV's on all the time. The TV's on all the time.
Okay, so it's interesting that song. Can you tell me about it? So you know, in France we say les enfants de la télévision, TV children, people were raised with a TV. What was your case? Did you have a TV all the time when you was a kid?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the time. And then even up until even in my 20s, you know, before we kind of got into the age of the internet and stuff like that, and the internet didn't really come until I was in my kind of mid-30s. But, you know, I used to have the TV on all the time. The TV's kind of always been my friend. You know, I constantly look for, I'll constantly just get inspiration from the TV. But, you know, I don't want not important programs, just rubbish. You know, that's where the good stuff is. You know, in what we call daytime TV shows, just kind of crap. The telly is always my inspiration.
And about inspiration on TV and popular music as well. I think if you go back to the 70s and 80s and maybe just before the internet really get important on cell phones, before it was people have common ground, I mean common references, but today the market seems to be very compartmentalized. People are just getting into their niche, like, and it's more difficult to have a hit song because there's so many niche and bubble, and people are their own bubble. And there was no, you know, when I was a kid, what was the show you were watching last night on TV, and you talk with your mates about it, and it's no longer that today.
Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't. Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's so much now, and it's just everything's is consumed in a different way if it is consumed. And the music, say, of probably from the kind of 50s to the 1990s was just a very different thing. And the 1990s was the last part of that era. And I think it just changed. It started to change gradually in the early 2000s, and by now it's completely different. Which is fine. That's just you know, the way time goes on. You know, things shouldn't just be the same. That's okay, and I'm not complaining about it because when I was a young man, you know, I had all that. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for younger people if they haven't got that, but. You know, young bands and stuff, but maybe they're okay. I don't know.
But it seems that on the positive side, there's less. I was talking about people into their own bubble, but at the same time, it's nowadays with the internet. Of course, you can have access to.
Yeah, you can find anything you want without it being like without the enemy saying what is important, or Melody Maker saying what is important, you know. So in that way, it's kind of good. But sometimes it's good to have someone showing you the way, and you can work it out for yourself. But it's just a kind of free-for-all now, which is kind of cool.
But at the same time, when you watch, you look at an Uncut, a Mojo, record collector, nowadays there's a fascination for the past, I mean, for the classic rock. Where I won't say that it's bad, but it's I don't have a judgment about that. I just see that it's quite different from the enemy and And the Melody Maker days, nowadays what was going on, it's on the internet, but not on the printed press.
No, it's just what it is. It's just, I mean, it's what it is, and what it actually is. It's just a thing. It's just sort of for dying old people, really. I mean, it's those magazines. I mean, I write for Record Collector every so often. It really is. It's a magazine. They're all magazines for old men who are dying out. They're not. Once all the old men have gone, those magazines are going to be gone as well. There won't be an audience for them. 30-year-olds don't read any of those magazines. I doubt 40-year-olds do. It's 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds. So yeah.
So I have got two last questions. Do you have any plans to